At some point in everyone's life, they have heard the word Pokemon. These adorable little creatures have been around since the Game Boy. Come to today, it's finally on the big screen. But was it worth it? Hey, what's up you guys, Snake here, back with another video. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Pokemon Sword and Shield for the Nintendo Switch. This generation of Pokemon game is especially huge for the franchise because, due to the nature of the Switch, it is the first mainline Pokemon game to be on a console. There are so many things that I love about this game, but also a lot of things that are unfortunately bad. Let's get right into it in this video. Like usual, I like to start with all the good of this game. Pokemon Sword and Shield is a game that I have personally been waiting so long for, and now that it's here, I honestly can't get enough of it. From the moment that the champion Leon comes to town and offers you your first starter, this game had me hooked. I mean, look at these adorable little fellas. Grookey Gang for life. There are so many mechanics in this game that aren't the quote-unquote OG Pokemon ways, but offer a new and exciting playthrough. Little things like being able to access the Pokemon box from anywhere, or being able to remember old moves for free, just expand the possibilities of what you can do. Being able to modify your Pokemon's moveset however and whenever you want at no cost allows you to get more experimental with how you make your team. A lot of people don't agree with this, but honestly it involves a lot more strategy. You have endless control with how you want to set up your Pokemon, so now it's time for you to take advantage of that. One thing I honestly thought was gimmicky at first, but now I absolutely love, is the feature PokeCamp. PokeCamp is a way for you to get outside the game and interact with your Pokemon in the first person. Now they had something similar like this in Pokemon Sun and Moon, where you can pet your Pokemon and give them treats, and I honestly thought it was the biggest waste of time. With PokeCamp, however, I actually feel like it's more useful for one simple reason: the cooking mechanic. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can actually use your PokeCamp whenever it's available, and when you use it, you have an option in your menu to cook various curry-based meals. Now you feed your Pokemon these meals, and depending on the ingredients you put in them, these meals can revive your Pokemon, heal them a little bit or fully, and even clear status effects. It's very useful when you're not near a Poke Center and you need to heal up on the spot. If you have the right ingredients, you can do it no problem. It's just about having the right ingredients on hand and knowing how to mix things together. This mechanic is especially useful when you're in my favorite place of the game, the wild area. The wild area is this huge area of wilderness devoted to encountering and catching Pokemon. You can find various Pokemon of different evolutions and levels roaming around, either hidden in tall grass or even just straight up standing there right in front of you. You can find level 10 Pokemon and you can find level 50 Gyarados all in the same area. You get access to this area from the very beginning, but it's useful throughout the entire journey due to all the different leveled Pokemon. In this area, you also find these glowing rock things called dens. These dens house Dynamax Pokemon, which you can battle in a raid with 3 of your friends, or if you don't have friends like me, sadly, 3 CPUs will join you in the battle. In these raid battles, you battle Pokemon, and if you win, you have a chance to catch them, and you get a bunch of great stuff like XP candy and rare candy. And honestly, this is so great. Trust me, you want to collect all that XP candy. I honestly wasn't a big fan of the whole raid battle gimmick until I realized it is the greatest way to farm XP. If you're looking for a way to level up your Pokemon fast, do raid battles. And if you spend an hour just farming raid battles and collecting XP candy, you can level up your Pokemon like crazy and make it the strongest Pokemon in your party. The whole concept of Dynamaxing Pokemon felt kind of weird when you compare it to every game has a form of this. There's Mega Evolutions and Z moves, but honestly comparing it to Z moves from Sun and Moon, I genuinely love the Dynamax mechanic way better. Z moves kind of just felt bland. Dynamaxing Pokemon just feels so much more powerful, and I love how there's even Pokemon that have special Gigantamax forms where they actually look different when they're in Dynamax. Lastly, I want to talk about the actual gym battles. I honestly really enjoy how the gym battles work in this game because it's these big, grand arenas with whole audiences cheering you on. It's just a really big experience when you take on a gym battle and you feel like you're actually going into something big. One thing I didn't like about Sun and Moon last generation was they kind of ditched the gym battle and went for these sort of trial things where you did challenges, and those challenges involved you fighting Pokemon and trainers and whatever, but it was really just based on a challenge. In this game, they really combined the two. Every gym you go to, there's some sort of challenge you have to do before you can enter into the arena of everyone cheering you on and you taking on the gym leader. The battles just feel so extravagant because it's a whole stadium with people cheering you on, and the gym battle is actually one of the only places where you can Dynamax your Pokemon. Dynamaxing is only found in gym battles and in raid battles, so being able to Dynamax your Pokemon just feels like this really cool experience, something that Z moves in Sun and Move just didn't really offer. Also, did I mention how pretty these gyms and towns are? Like, I'm not gonna get too crazy into this because overall the graphics weren't the best, but oh my god, like, these had some really nice designs. Like, look at this town. It's so beautiful. It's in this dark forest, but these beautiful colors just pop, and I love that. I was obsessed with these towns. Overall, I really love the gameplay aspect of this game, but I'm going to cut myself off because there are a lot of things the game does really poorly, which ruins a part of the experience. I've spoken enough about how great this game is. Time to trash on it a little bit. But before I move on, though, I just want to remind you that if you are enjoying this video and want to see more, please leave a like. You don't need to be logged in to like, and it lets me and YouTube know that you enjoy these kinds of videos. Anyways, back to the video. Honestly, this game is wonderful, but it isn't all great. There are two main issues I have with this game. The first one is the lack of national dex. Now, if you don't know what national dex means, it's basically the Pokedex of every single Pokemon ever created. Until this game, every mainline Pokemon had national dex, meaning you were able to catch every Pokemon in existence. Back in Pokemon Sun and Moon, that meant that all 809 Pokemon that existed at that time were able to be caught. In this game, however, they ditched that concept of national dex and created a game-specific Galarian dex, Galar being the region that the game takes place in. The Galarian dex includes 81 new Pokemon created for this game, as well as a quote-unquote select list of Pokemon from all the other games. Many people were outraged by this and still are, and they all basically say, and I quote, "Well, now you can't catch them all like you used to." Honestly, in my opinion, it sucks that they removed national dex because that's been in every single game so far and just feels like such a weird change. But even without it, you have to understand that there are still 400 Pokemon in Sword and Shield. For the diehard fans who plan to play the game and grind it on a competitive level, I could see their frustration. But for most of us, 400 Pokemon is plenty. I currently have 20 hours in this game, and I have only encountered 189 of the 400 Pokemon that exist. And those are only the ones I've seen. I haven't caught all of them yet. In terms of actual gameplay, not having national dex isn't an issue, but there isn't a big reason not to have it. It doesn't really affect gameplay, but I'm complaining because it feels lazy that they cut out so many, even if there are already 400. This laziness also applies to my next issue, which is the graphics. The whole community has trashed on these graphics, so I'm gonna be a bit easier on them. Overall, this game does look really good, and visually speaking, it is quite an improvement over the last game on 3DS. People have to acknowledge that compared to the 3DS, this game looks amazing. The issue is the actual textures that are being used. With games like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we know the Switch can easily have really nice textures. There are even parts in the game that are actually really well designed. Keep in mind the town I literally just showed you. It looks beautiful in game. The only reason why these textures would be bad for everything else is, just like the last issue, I can only assume they got lazy. It's the only way to explain things like the horrible tree textures in the wild area and very bad water animation. Now, I'll give them one thing. I play this game mainly in handheld mode, and it's honestly solved a lot of the issues since rendering it at 720p on a smaller screen buffers out many of the visual hiccups. If this game was just another handheld game, I wouldn't have commented on the graphics, but because it's on TV and many people are playing this on their big 60-inch screens, you can really see the imperfections, and I have to address it. It's not an ugly game, but graphically speaking, they were just really lazy in some of the textures. Both of these issues are such minor things that could probably be fixed with simple software, and it's things that they should fix with simple software. If they released an update for the game that included new updated textures for the game and a bigger library of Pokemon, then honestly, I would have no reason to complain about this game. But today, I have to mention them because both of these things combined just makes you wonder, what did Game Freak even do with their time? They didn't add all the Pokemon, and they didn't work above and beyond on their graphics. You know, if it was just one or the other, I can understand, because if they didn't add all the Pokemon, but the graphics look amazing, I would have understood. And if their graphics look meh, but they've jam-packed it with everything they possibly can, I also would have understood. But having these two issues, I just couldn't ignore it. It's sad because these two issues aren't even game breaking because it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. Not having national decks for most people wouldn't even be a bother because I don't tend to collect all 800 Pokemon anyways, so 400 is plenty for me and for most people as well. And the graphics, honestly, I've been okay with it. I've gotten used to it. Playing in handheld, you don't even notice that often. It just sucks that these minor issues are so prominent that I have to mention them in this review. Overall, I really love the game, and I do recommend you pick it up. I've trashed in it for about half this video, but I do recommend you go out and try the game for yourself. Again, the issues it does have are kind of minuscule, but it's still a great Pokemon game. It's still a great story, and I would still invest so much time in this game, and I recommend you do too. Anyways, guys, that's all I really have for today. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the game. Do you have it? Do you like it? Do you want it? I want to hear from you guys. Lastly, let me know in the comments what you think of this style of video. I know it's different than what I normally do, but if you do like it, give this video a like. Again, show your support so I know you want to see more. Anyways, guys, I'm Snake. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.